Thank you. Morning, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hopefully get some more folks to join here. Give it a minute or two. We only got 14 folks in the call. I think about half of those are us. So we'll give folks another few minutes to join. All right. Well, I'm not seeing any more folks in the waiting room right now. So we are recording this, and I'll make sure to send this out to registrants after the session is done, and we'll make sure we've got the recording as well as the slides. So we'll go ahead and get started. Good morning. Thank you for joining us for our TA Tuesday session on advanced training and bridge test out criteria. I'm Nate Keener, and on the call with us this morning, we've got Larry Dawson and Michelle Cerruti and Diana Fuller, and I saw Sarah Graham as well. We are recording this session so you can find it later for reference. So the reason we're here today is we'd like to get your feedback on a couple of policy updates that we've drafted as we prepare to roll out this guidance officially. We've developed some guidance, but we want to hear from you on how you think these will impact your operations. And we also have a few announcements at the end we'd like to let you know about. I'll be presenting today, but as I mentioned, we're also joined by Larry Dawson on the call, and Michelle Cerruti, Diana Fuller, and Sarah Graham, rounding out our DCEO CEJA team. I think I also saw David Garvey as well. So the agenda, we're going to talk about advanced training guidance, so the definition that we've drafted for advanced training. Then we want to hear from you what kind of questions you have, what feedback you have on hearing what our approach is going to be. And then similarly, we'll talk a little bit about bridge test out criteria and get your feedback on those. And then you can see the announcements that we have here at the end. And then hopefully we'll have some time for further questions and discussion. So jumping right in, advanced training. So the background on this is that we want CEJA participants to get primary transition outcomes. And these are transitions that most strongly equate to program success and include getting hired in the clean energy industry, getting placed in an apprenticeship program in the construction trades/clean energy industry, and enrolling in advanced training. As we eventually move to a performance-based payment model, primary transition outcomes will receive full reimbursement, while secondary transition outcomes will only receive partial reimbursement. Adding in more of the context here, as participants complete elements of training, we've had questions come up. When does the transition outcome begin? What counts as advanced training? Can a participant transition to another CEJA program and get a primary transition outcome? And so it's necessary for DCEO to apply a consistent standard when evaluating these questions. So let's jump into the definition. So An advanced training program is an educational or occupational training experience that builds upon the participant's credentials earned in the CEJA program through either vertical or horizontal stacking. And we'll define those horizontal and vertical stacking here in the next slide. Advanced training programs must align with industry recognized standards and contribute to a participant's upward mobility or broadened job qualifications within the clean energy sector. So by advanced training, we don't simply mean any kind of other training. What we're referring to is vertical and or horizontal stacking. So vertical stacking refers to progression to a higher level of expertise, responsibility, or credential, such as advancing from an entry level or basic certificate like NABCET PV Associate to a mid-level or supervisory credential like potentially, for example, PV Design Specialist Certification or Energy Storage Installation Professional. Might also be an associate's degree or a 4-year degree. So that's vertical stacking, moving up in the expertise. Horizontal stacking involves acquiring complementary credentials or skills at a similar level that expand a participant's employability across related occupations, such as adding certifications in energy efficiency or battery storage to a core solar installation credential. So when does advanced training kick in? So this is one that's come up quite a few times in terms of, when is it considered advanced training versus when is it just a continuation of the existing training program? So advanced training refers to an outcome that occurs after completing a CEJA program and earning a credential. The participant's individual employment or career plan specifies which CEJA training program they're enrolled in. The career plan should focus on helping the participant develop skills for jobs in a specific industry. Stacking credentials is encouraged, and participants should be empowered to create a flexible training plan that best suits their employment needs. However, grantees must ensure that the participant is pursuing credentials that complement each other and lead to employment in the clean energy industry. I think a good guide there is, are my employer partners looking for candidates who have this combination of skills? Grantees should prevent situations where a participant pursues unrelated credentials or attempts to enroll in training for multiple industries at once. Such actions could displace a future eligible participant who's waiting for enrollment. So some important notes here, just to drive home this point because I think we can lose track of it. Advanced training is a transition outcome. So like getting a job is a transition outcome, advanced training is a transition outcome too. It signals that the participant is done with the CEJA training. Participants may continue to receive wraparound supports through the barrier reduction funds, but they are transitioning out of CEJA training at this point and are in follow-up. CEJA training funds are no longer being used to pay for this participant's training. We also want to make sure we aren't doing multiple rounds of training for individual participants who may displace somebody on the waiting list. Participants may not enroll in multiple CEJA programs at once or enter a new CEJA program after completing one, at least with CEJA funds. All training that happens after the CEJA program should be assessed under the advanced training definition to determine the compliance credit the grantee will earn for this outcome. Okay, I'm sure we're going to have some questions and edge cases to think through here, so please let us know what you're thinking. Who's got questions? Who's got feedback for us on this? Feel free to raise your hand or type in the chat. Come off mute. Anybody? Here we go. Can you clarify the point you had said secondary outcomes will receive partial reimbursement? Yeah, sure. So right now we have not implemented a performance-based payment model. So this is a future consideration, right? That and the performance-based payment model finally does get rolled out, and we're still working on that. Don't have a date for when that will come around, but one of the features of that model is that reimbursement is based on outcomes, right? And so the primary transition outcomes are those that really advance the goals of CEJA. So getting a job in the clean energy industry, getting placed in an apprenticeship in the construction trades with a focus on clean energy, or getting the advanced training. Secondary outcomes are those outcomes which are certainly a benefit to the participant in that it helps them increase their skills or increase their employability, but it may not be an outcome that advances the goals of CEJA, right? And so that might be, so they may get a good job, but it might not be in the clean energy industry. They might go on to additional training, but it might not be in the clean energy industry. They might get an apprenticeship in a field that isn't related to clean energy. And so we always want to keep our focus on those primary transition outcomes because those both help the participant and advance the goals of CEJA. Decarbonizing, lowering emissions, getting 1 million electric vehicles on the road, hitting renewable energy production goals, those kinds of things. But like I said, future consideration, but we are trying to prepare the ground for some of those things. What other questions do we have? What other feedback? And that's okay if we don't have any right now. Keep noodling on it, and we'll have another opportunity at the end of the presentation here to ask other questions and give feedback. And of course, feel free to email us questions as those come up. All right, moving on to bridge test out. Okay, so background on the bridge program. I think we know what the bridge program is, but the guidance is that the bridge should be taught first, but we are seeing some other models of integrating bridge concepts into the job-specific training. So just be sure you're in communication with your regional administrator or your grant manager if you're thinking of moving to a model like that. So the bridge program consists of the following components. The pre-assessment portion where we're doing needs assessments and career assessments, and many of us are doing the reading and math assessments right up front there for all of the participants. And then as we move into the bridge training, we've got the essential employability skills, and then we've got all the elements of the clean energy basics, including intro to clean energy careers, energy and sustainability fundamentals, safety basics, building science principles, construction basics, and electrical basics. So the context on the bridge program, one of the demographics being targeted by CEJA is displaced energy workers. These and many other workers may have years of experience in related fields. They may already have current OSHA or CPR certification. They may be able to demonstrate mastery in introductory elements of the bridge program. And so the bridge test out policy provides guidance for assessing a participant's eligibility for testing, credentialing out of certain elements of the bridge program. So participants may be eligible to test out of components of the bridge program based on the following: prior training or coursework in clean energy, safety, or construction, valid and relevant certifications like OSHA 10, BPI, or CCER Core, documented work experience in relevant fields, and demonstrated proficiency in pre-assessments or bridge assessments administered by the grantee. So what are the components of eligibility for testing out? Well, depending on grantee policy, that's going to be important. Depending on grantee policy, the following may be eligible for test out. Employability Skills 101. Participants are eligible to test out if the provided essential employability skills assessment is passed. So if the participant can pass your assessment for employability skills without going through the class, then they are allowed to do that if you would choose. Safety basics, OSHA 10 is required. So participants are eligible to test out if the previous OSHA card is less than 3 years. Building science principles, participants are eligible to test out if they receive a passing score on the BPI certification exam and receive a building science principles certificate upon successful completion completed within the last 3 years. Continuing on here. may be able to test out of construction basics. So participants are eligible to test that if they've previously taken and passed an NCCER aligned course within the last 3 years. And then finally, they may be able to test out of the entire bridge program and move directly into job-specific training if all the components, the needs, career, reading, math assessment, and the bridge assessment are satisfactory in scoring. So what's the documentation required for bridge test out? Participants must submit the following documentation to qualify for the test out. So we'd be looking for official transcripts, certificates, or training records, proof of valid certification like OSHA 10 or BPI certificate. Want to make sure these are uploaded to the participant file. Employee verification or resume detailing relevant work experience. Oh, and the chart here is actually referencing the Clean Jobs curriculum. Yeah. And then finally, completed pre-assessments and bridge assessment scores. Some additional notes and grantee flexibility and or requirements. Grantees may determine if testing out will be allowed. So this is definitely up to you as far as whether you want to provide this option for participants or if it's just cleaner to send everybody through the training. Grantees may use the essential employability skills framework for the assessment to help determine any areas participant can test out of. And then the grantee may decide on cohort sizes and scheduling flexibility, such as offering open entry, open exit training formats for cohorts based on the need. Some important considerations for the participants who might want to pursue this. Participants who test out of components of the bridge program will only receive a stipend for the hours of training that they actually partake in within the CEJA program. So participants who test out must also wait for the job-specific technical training to begin or for the class to catch up. Testing out is optional but requires verification and approval by the grantee. And grantees must require OSHA to be retaken if it's over 3 years old to stay current with safety regulations. And so a number of considerations there where even if the grantee is eligible or the participant is eligible to test out of the bridge, they may decide that they don't even want to do that. They may decide that, you know what, I'll take a refresher. That way I can continue to be with my cohort. That way I can continue to receive the stipend for the hours of attendance. So I'll stop again there and see what questions folks have, what feedback, what are we thinking? How are these going to impact our operations? And again, feel free to come off mute or raise your hand or put your answers in the chat. Anybody? I would love it if this meant we just devised some very clear and useful policy for you all. I hope that's the case. But we will send this out, the recording as well as the slides, so folks have some more time to digest. And of course, we will take any feedback that you have after today as well. Give a few more seconds here for folks to think about it before we move on. Okay, well, I am going to stop sharing right now and give the floor to Tamika Thomas, who is leading the CEJA Workforce Hub at Richland Community College in Decatur, as she would like to announce a project that she's working on, and I think looking for some participation from our sister hubs around the state. And so with that said, I will give the floor to Tamika.
Thank you, Nate. Just 1 second while I share my screen.
Sure.
Okay, let's see here. Mm, hmm.
If it's acting
Okay.
funny, I have it if you want me to share it and I can
Oh,
advance the slides for you if you'd like.
okay, that will work a lot better.
Okay. Yeah, let me find that real quick.
Okay, thank you, Nate. So before I get started, I do want to mention that the reason why I wanted to share this with everyone is because, as you can see from Nate's information, that DCO is looking for us to connect our students with actual jobs in the clean in the industry that we are assigned. And in my area, I don't know about everyone else's area, I have been able to find students jobs, but at this time, because of where we are in the transition, a lot of those students haven't been getting jobs in the clean industry. So I decided to work with a third party company, which is Slipstream, to help me connect my students directly with contractors and employers who would connect my students to jobs in the clean energy job industry. Next slide, please. So, Richland Community College, which is the school that I work at, we are working with Slipstream and we are going to launch a Clean Energy Expo. It's going to take place at the end of this school year, which is in May. And what we plan to do is take all of the students from the entire year that we've serviced this year that have not been able to secure jobs and give them an opportunity to have a one stop shop. Slipstream is doing research for me. They are contacting independent contractors and organizations that will be hiring at that time. And these employers are actually willing to come on site and do on the spot interviews with the hopes of hiring some of our students and demonstrations for the community. So, bullet point two, the expo will link future job seekers with career pathways and give employers access to a diverse candidate pool. So, I know the first question is, your indicator, how will this help me? If I get buy in from other hubs, Slipstream is actually willing to do research and contact contractors in your area or where your students can connect with. We hope that this is just an end of the year activity for all of the hubs to participate in which at the end of the year, the grant year, we can gather all of our students and give them the opportunity to make those job connections at the end of the grant year. So we haven't started planning the event yet. That's why there's still opportunity to get buy-in from other hubs if you're interested. Next slide, please. So we hope to engage at least 150 students and job seekers. I will say that we do plan on inviting high school students to this event, specifically high school seniors that are interested in the CEJA program. So it will serve as an exposure event for them and an employer event for our students that are currently finishing programs or in programs. We want to feature 15 or more clean energy employers. The reason why the number is 15 right now is because we really want to focus on the employers that are looking to hire our students. So these employers are going to come and they're going to want to see the certificates that the students have. These students are going to be expected to have their resumes ready, their certificates on hand, and even their driver's license. This will strengthen our partnership with industry partners, and we hope to make lasting connections where employers look to come to this event to hire people for the jobs that will occur in contract in the summer. We'll have media there, and we have every intention on tracking the outcomes. So, no event will be worthwhile unless we get the outcomes that we expect. Slipstream is going to actually track how many students gain employment from this one event. Next slide, please. So they've included a couple of pictures because they've done this before. I did want everyone to know that this isn't just any third party company. This company actually works in the clean energy industry. They do BAP and BAT training. They work with partners already. So they have a good knowledge base on who they should contract, which is why they were very appealing to me. They offer these expos and job opportunities, and one major feature of them is they're not only asking the contractors, the employers to come, they're asking them to come, and they have a section where there's hands on. So even the general public at some point may want to be invited. But for our high school seniors, they won't be as interested in talking to the employers as they will getting to get some hands-on activities going on. Next slide, please. And so this is just another picture of some things that they have. And you know what? Contractors sometimes they like to show off the projects they've done and some of the tools that they have. So a lot of the contractors that they've told me about are more than willing to not only provide a booth to do on-site interviews, but they'll provide a hands-on activity as well. So they'll provide something for our students to do and then something for our high school seniors if needed. And I think this is the last slide. Next slide. And I just want to wrap all this information up by saying, like, we're doing the best that we can. And I know it's the first year, but we have to start focusing on the intended outcome. And so I think this would be an awesome idea to maybe have an event of this nature. And I don't mind being the test site for it in different areas of the state, but focus on just supporting which area is hosting it for which year. And of course, I'm volunteering to do it the first year, and maybe it could be something that we all include in our work plan, like this clean energy workforce event, and able to track that these students are being connected directly to employers at this event. Like I said before, we don't officially start planning for this event until next month because this is a busy month for me. But if anyone is interested or has additional input, ideas, or concerns about transporting their students or who's going to be there, you're more than willing to contact myself or even reach out to Nate. Yep, one last pic. Oh, I think another picture. Yes, perfect. And this company is based in Wisconsin, but they do a lot of work, which is crazy, up north in the Chicagoland area, but they are willing to work with me down here in central Illinois. So, and I think that's it. Is that it? Does anyone have any questions? Hi, Linda. You have a question?
Oh, I was just clapping, hand clap. Wonderful.
Are you going to send me some people?
We're going to try, right? I see our director, Kevin Clark, he has his thumb up. Good job.
And you know what? I think if I include everybody in the very beginning versus just sending out some random blanket invite, that gives us the opportunity to work together. So, like, if we start working on transportation things, and Nate and everybody is aware of it, we can really make it an impactful event, and we can show that we are introducing our students to employers that are in the clean energy job industry, which is, what we're supposed to be doing.
So your email, your contact info.
I can put that in the chat.
Thank you. Thank you.
And in case we have folks that are watching the recording, it's tlthomas@richland.edu.
Thank you, Nate.
Tamika, I think this is a really exciting event you're planning, and I'm excited that our team gets to be a part of it. Um, do you plan to like invite the press or any other stakeholders that have been watching CEJA closely?
So, since we're planning, I'm going to do all the things that I'm told to do. And I would say, of course, Diana, I really need this to be an event where we can, like, our hubs can take people and these students can get jobs. So, I do want to invite the media, and I'm very interested in the outcomes. Like, I'm stressing the slipstream that we want employers that know how many people they need to hire and what credentials they need, and we can put our students in front of them.
So I'm assuming then you're going to be inviting your current employer partners and expanding that.
Of course.
Okay, gotcha. Wow, that's really exciting. I really hope that everybody on the call takes consideration in partaking in planning this event. I could see this becoming an annual thing, depending, of course, on everybody's graduation schedules, but a regional event that's held throughout the year too. So thanks, Tamika, for being innovative and uh, presenting this to everybody.
You're welcome.
Cool. What other questions do we have for Tamika or for our DCEO team? Any other? And that can be about the content we've shared today, or we also just opening this hour for any CEJA grant related questions. Please feel free to raise your hand or come off mute or type in the chat. I do have another couple things I was going to announce here real quick.
Excuse me, Nate.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Kevin Clark, CEJA Navigator, Carbondale. I have a direct question for Tamika. Wanted to know, what are the programs that you are promoting training for at Richland?
Right now, we have EV hybrid technician, we have solar panel installation, home energy auditing, and HVAC.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, got another chat question here, looks like. Do we have any updates on the move to having monthly reports done in the CEJA reporting system? Okay, good question. Yeah, so we are continuing to work on rolling that out. I don't have a date yet when we're going to like officially kind of switch over. You may have been contacted already by our partners at NIU. One thing that we want to try to do is clean up the data before we move fully into that system. So. Definitely, if you've gotten contacted by NIU, please reach back out to them and set up a time to chat. They're going to work to reconcile the manual monthly reports with what we're seeing in the CEJA reporting system, so that as we roll those out, we can kind of merge those two things, right? So right now we've got the data that's in the monthly report, and then we've got the data that's in the CEJA reporting system, and those don't always match, and so we want to make sure that those match before we move too far down that road. So. Yeah, so we haven't yet finished building the work plans for the hubs or navigators in the system yet. I think there's some reporting functionality that's already kind of built up, but we have not rolled that out yet. I would just keep working with your regional administrator and the NIU team on getting that data validated, and we will move to that as soon as we can.
Thank you, Nate. I just wanted to ask, and if you don't have the answer, that's totally fine, but I was just curious as to how that's going to be built out in the system, whether it's just, the data source within the CEJA reporting system would just automatically extract that, and put it into the report itself, or if the plan is to still be kind of manually entering data in a separate report within the system. I don't know if that makes sense, if you see what I'm getting at, but if it's just going to be automated within the system because the data already exists there, is that kind of what we're moving towards?
Yep. And
Okay.
then, yeah, and so as you enter the participant data into the system, then when you run the monthly report, it'll be able to pull that data against the planned numbers.
Right.
And so, one of the things that we've been working on really recently is, okay, making sure that what we're putting into the system for the planned numbers is going to line up to the period during which you're putting in the data, right? And so when you pull the report, it's going to have the planned number for for this year. It'll be where do you plan to end up at the end of year two, right? And so those will be cumulative numbers, and then we'll compare that to the cumulative actual numbers. So each month you'll pull a planned versus actual report, and that'll reflect the year one plus year two work plan, as well as the year one plus year two actuals.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Mhm. All right. And yeah, feel free to keep coming up with questions, putting them in the chat, raising your hand as I move into these other couple of points. So we've got the CEJA Partner Summit coming up on September 17th in Springfield. And you should have received some email about that. And if not, please do let me know, and I'll make sure to get that save the date sent out to you immediately. The idea there is that we all want to get together and kind of talk about some best practices and challenges, and just kind of start getting on the same page, exchanging notes on what we're doing and how things are going. Make some contacts with some of the CEJA programs coming out of our sister offices like OEBU and OEIT. And so please do put that on your calendar. And like I said, if you don't have that invite, please reach out to your RA to make sure you get that. And then we're also planning a solar industry call. Date not finalized yet, but looking like the week of September 24th. And that will be a virtual a webinar. So please, we're going to be seeking from grantees who have solar workforce training programs. We're going to be asking you to send us just a slide or a slide or two about your solar program. The idea of this call will be to let the solar industry representatives know who they can reach out to make contact with solar training programs, to get that solar pipeline, to keep building out that solar employment pipeline. Be a good opportunity for us to kind of plug into the solar industry, for the solar industry to plug into our programs, ask questions, start exchanging notes, that kind of thing. So please do mark that down on your calendar as well, that we will have a solar industry call sometime in that week of September 24th. And with that, there's the contact information for the regional administrators, and that's all that we have for today. What other questions can we answer? What other feedback do you have for us on our proposals?
Nate, this is Larry.
Yeah.
If I may, just wanted to add one bit of further clarification to, I think, Carly's question earlier about the monthly report, and just mention that even when we transition over to the monthly report being provided through the system, The narrative portion of that will still need to be entered by the grantees. And we're hoping that this is already mentioned that through this reconciliation process that all of the numbers that you're used to putting in the spreadsheet will all be generated by the system. So we won't have to worry about that. But currently, I know I have heard from various grantees that there are situations where a participant is completed in their training, but in the system, they still show as an applicant and things like that. And so we just want to make sure that as we provide our reports to external parties, media, governmental representatives, that it's accurate. And so we have to go through this reconciliation process before we completely cut over. But we appreciate your patience, and I know we've promised this transition for some weeks and months now, but we too look forward to the transition. So bear with us and work closely with the NIU team when they reach out. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry. Good point. Good point. What else? Anything else from you, Larry, or Michelle, or Diana, or Sarah?
I don't, Nate. Great job.
Mm-hmm. All righty. Well, like I said earlier, if you I'll send out the recording and the slides to everybody who's kind of a registrant, because I know with participation looks kind of low today, so we've got a lot of our partners were not able to attend. So we'll send that out to everybody, and please do think up any feedback or questions that you might have about the content that we shared today. And with that, I want to wish everybody a happy week, and let us know how we can help.